Ooh, I don't think we've ever used this one. All right. Now, okay, everybody. This time, the intro is going to be beautiful. I'm going to use 2 hands for this. Here we go. Okay. Real YouTubers are excited for DLC. Today we are talking about DLC. Except for the fact that there's no new information. This is just my personal wish list, and I'm a little worried about why. I'm sorry, I'm out of song, but I'm not out of focus. Please. Oh, okay, everybody. Last letter. Speed run. Okay, here we go. Well, can't be too upset about that one, I think. Anyway, hello, it's your boy, content guy. Bringing you another video. So here's the thing. So there I was, telling you all that we were going to follow a schedule. We are going to make a make a reaction video, and then a tier list video, and then a battle video. But the thing about schedules is that I'm not good at keeping them. So here we are. So this is none of those, but I wanted to talk about it anyway. So, you know, basically today is Sunday. I think the days of the week no longer have any meaning to me. Every day is Wolf Day. That's the only thing that matters. These don't do anything. I just feel weird recording without them in. It's just force of habit at this point. Okay, wow, I feel so much better. Thank you, headphones. Thank you, earbuds. And so, I was thinking about how the fact that today is Sunday, and the DLC comes out, according to sources close to Mr. Pikachu, on Wednesday, okay? And so, that's pretty soon. That's only, according to sources close to Mr. Pikachu, 3 days away, maybe less, depending on, I don't know, it probably releases Tuesday at like midnight, maybe even earlier. So, yeah. So I thought I'd talk about kind of what I'm hoping to see from the DLC. I've made a list of 10 things. I've decided to split it up into casual things that I, as a casual player, want to see, and then competitive. So that way, yeah, we can talk about like what we want from the gameplay, just like, or from the DLC purely from like an enjoyment perspective, and then we can also talk about. I know my hair is bad. Then we can also talk about what I think would be good for the metagame and good for the game in general. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started here. First of all, let's go through the casual stuff. I think that's easier. The first thing I want to say, I'm going out of order of my personal list, but the first thing I want to say is that I hope there is a good quantity of content. Like, obviously I want the quality to be good, but if you told me the DLC is going to take me 1 hour to beat, I would 100% believe you, right? Because I mean, this is unprecedented, right? Pokemon's never done DLC before, and it's hard to tell exactly how much extra content goes into, like a third game, for example, because a lot of it is just reused, right? When you think about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon versus Sun and Moon, you get like the Ultra Beasts, you get like legendary Pokemon returning. The story is slightly different, but it's hard to distinguish how much how much extra work that actually goes into the enhanced version. So with the DLC, we don't know exactly. I don't know exactly how long it's going to take me to beat. Personally, if it took me 7 or 8 hours, I'd be thrilled. If it takes me 1, I'd be unhappy. 4 or 5 would be fine as well. I'm just hoping that there's like a lot of stuff to do, right? I hope it's not just, you know, you go to the gym, you catch Cubfu, you train with Cubfu, you evolve it. Maybe there's a bad guy. I don't know. Maybe you just have to evolve your Urshifu and then you're done, right? So extra region, like extra parts of the region would be cool. Like, yeah, just like extra story. That would all be great. Additionally, I think Galarian forms are a really cool concept, and I would love to see some more of those. In addition to Gigantamax forms, so that's number 3, or 2 and 3. Galarian forms, I think, are just really fun. I think it's a really cool concept to kind of redesign old Pokemon. I don't have any, like, specifically that I necessarily want new forms of. Personally, I think, like, yeah, I mean, there's obviously some that could be cool, but, yeah. I also especially like when these Pokemon are viable. A lot of the Alolan forms were not super viable. Like, the best one that comes to mind off the top of my head was Ninetales. Alolan Ninetales is pretty good, but Alolan Exeggutor and Alolan Raichu are both kind of fell flat, and like Berserker is not super good. Alolan Persian was good as well, actually, in 2017. So yeah, I'd like if they were good as well. I think that's cool. Alolan Marowak won Worlds as well. Okay, so there were a couple good ones actually. Now that I think about it, Alolan Muck was good as well. Yeah, okay, actually, you know what? I take it back. A lot of the Alolan ones were pretty good. I can't think of any relevant Galarian forms except for Galarian Weezing, who's so close to being a great Pokemon and just really falls short. But I think it could still do well. It's also not totally fully explored, in my opinion. And then I think Gigantamax forms are a really cool concept. I especially like when they're used on Pokemon that are like kind of mid-tier but become very good when you Gigantamax them. So kind of broken effects on Pokemon that are not typically thought of as being especially broken. The biggest example of this is Lapras, who, thanks to its Gigantamax form, is one of the best Pokemon in the format. However, Lapras gets almost no play without the Gigantamax. So, yeah, personally, that's what I would like to see for the number 2 and 3. The fourth thing is a very personal thing. I would love some more marks. For those of you who don't know, when you catch a Pokemon in the wild, there's a very small chance of having a mark. And it's just a cosmetic thing, but it's super cool. I mark hunted every Pokemon I could for both my regional teams, I believe, and yeah, so I don't know, I just really like them. I think they're cool, and there's so much you can do with them from a design perspective, because it's not hard to program in, so yeah, adding some more marks I think would be sick. That's like probably my number 2 wish, out of everything, is more marks, just because I think they're super cool. And last but not least, the thing that I've wanted for 4 generations. This is my 4th time wanting it. I'm very, very, very sad that it's not in the game, and truthfully, I have a feeling it's not coming back. But I really miss the Battle Factory. The number 1 thing out of everything that I want is the Battle Factory. It's, and like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Battle Factory is so fun. I've spent literally hundreds of hours as a kid playing it. I miss it significantly. I think it's such a fun challenge to have. For those of you who don't know, if you started after Gen 3 or 4 or didn't play Emerald or Platinum, there was something called the Battle Factory. Basically, the game gives you in-game Pokemon, and it works like the Battle Tower, except the Pokemon you use aren't your own. You can then trade Pokemon with anybody you beat, and it goes for 7 in a row. So, for example, at the start of the 7, you're given 6 Pokemon. You get to take 3 or 4 of them, depending on if you're doing singles or doubles, and then actually, you might only get 3 in doubles as well, now that I think about it. You'd probably get 4. And then from there, you go and you play against in-game trainers. This is all in-game. And if you win, you can, if you want, switch one of your Pokemon with one of their Pokemon. So it's kind of like you level up as you go. And then you're rewarded later if you trade often. Yeah, and then the quality of Pokemon that you get improves as you progress in the challenge. I've done a bit of this content on the channel actually a while ago. We had a whole series called Fight for the Factory, very, very long ago. But I love the Battle Factory. I think it's so fun, and yeah, I mean, I would love to have it back personally. As an aside, as a bonus, I don't think this is going to change, but if they fixed the YCOM, that would be cool. If they just gave us back like the PSS, that would be cool. The YCOM is the worst system I've ever seen, and looks like it's from like the 1900s. Looks like it's from 1910, before they had video games. It's a terrible system. I don't think anyone feels like the YCOM is good. It's actually horrific. It's actually so bad that, like, I think that it would be difficult for me to make a worse system that, like, still fulfilled the basic requirements. And the PSS, which was the Gen 6 system, was phenomenal. There's no issues with the PSS. It was perfect. It was amazing. And they gave us... I thought the Festival Plaza. I truly thought the Festival Plaza was the worst it was going to get. It got worse. YCOM it makes me miss the Festival Plaza, which is horrific because the Festival Plaza was also garbage. Yeah. So fixing the Wi-Fi interaction, that's a bonus one. I don't have that on my list as number whatever. But yeah, fixing the way that we interact with the Wi-Fi would be sick because, yeah, the YCOM is horrific. In terms of competitive, let's talk about number 1 for competitive, which is number 6 overall. I'd like to see the Pokemon returning be viable. I think it'd be kind of lame if you brought back a bunch of Pokemon, like, I don't know, that weren't super good, and so the metagame stayed relatively unchanged, or even worse, that you add like 1 or 2 Pokemon in that are very, very powerful. Maybe that's not worse, but I don't know. Like, I think it'd be cool if we had a really big shakeup, and in order to have that happen competitively, you need to have a bunch of Pokemon that are altering things, right, and that are changing things at once. We're not going to have a huge shakeup if you add... actually, I mean, to be fair, adding just Politoed would change the current metagame a lot. In my opinion, Politoed and Kingdra, for example. However, like, I mean, it'd be really cool if there was, like, a whole bunch of new archetypes, new ways of playing, in my opinion, that could be added. Now, you don't want there to be too many viable archetypes, in my opinion. I think it's bad for the game, but I think even still, adding a bunch of Pokemon in or a bunch of viable Pokemon in will typically... push out some existing archetypes and add some new ones in. So that's what I would personally like to see. In terms of the specific Pokemon I want to see, I got Politoed, so I don't really care about anything else. I will say I think more viable Steel types would be cool. On my current, like, what I currently build, something I don't like is that I feel kind of trapped into using a couple Steel types if I want a Steel type. And actually, because of this, my Collinsville team, which got second at regionals, didn't have a steel type, and my Dallas team, which won regionals, had Duraludon, but it didn't function as a steel type, is the truth. Like, it didn't yeah, steel types are typically defensive, and Duraludon was not especially defensive at all. It was just like just a damage bot. So, I don't know. Currently, if you want to use a steel type, your options are like Excadrill, which is probably the best one, Durant, who I personally really dislike, and then you have, like, Ferrothorn, who I don't particularly like, and Scavalier, who is fine, but not great, not very splashable, it requires a lot of support to get it going, and even then it's probably worse than some other Pokemon, so, and then, like, Duraludon, who's so especially frail that it really, really hurts it, and you're kind of forced to either run it offensively, or, like with an Assault Vest to increase survivability, which then, can't run any other items, so, yeah, so for that reason, Steel type specifically, I'd like to see more of, yeah. Number 2 for competitive, number 7 overall. I think I'd like some more items. I think, like, Generation 8 added a bunch of items. However, a bunch of them aren't really used. Every generation adds items that aren't used, but Generation 8, it felt like there was a couple in particular. The one that comes to mind is the Utility Umbrella, which is just an awful item because of the way that it's coded. It pretty much only functions defensively, so I think it removes your opponent's... I don't even remember what it does. I looked it up and it didn't do anything that it was supposed to do, and then I was like, I'm never using this. But yeah, like, for example, I wanted to run Utility Umbrella Dracovish in the sun, like on a sun team, so that way I, like, can still hit, like, ignoring the sun reduction of my water type moves, but it didn't work that way, and then at that point I gave up and I was mad. So I'd like, first of all, maybe a reworking of some of these older items, like Absorb Bulb could be buffed, Snowball, Battery, all those items could be buffed. Utility Umbrella needs to be fixed. Pikachu, if you're watching this, fix Utility Umbrella. You were so close. It's so close to being sick. It just sucks. And I also wouldn't mind some new competitive items, maybe ones that are actually good. I want to say I'd like an item that ignores redirection. It would totally revolutionize the game and totally change the way that we play it. But I want to get rid of the I want to start thinking about Xerneas now. And Xerneas with Amoonguss is going to be a problem. So let's get rid of redirection now. Let's give Stalwart an ability. Xerneas is still broken, don't get me wrong. But at least this should help a little bit if we can just ignore the redirection. Yeah, because then you could run, like, Stalwart item Genjar, or, like, yeah, and then you could actually do stuff. So, I mean, that would probably still be bad, truthfully, but you get the point. Additionally, my number 8 thing that I want is, we know that there are legendary Pokemon being added in. Urshifu, the legendary birds. I personally wouldn't mind if they didn't allow legendary Pokemon for a bit. I mean, I know that it's inevitable that we're going to have a legendary format, and there's 2 types of legendary format. There's, like, National Dex format, which is, all Pokemon are legal minus the cover legendaries, so Pokemon like Cresselia and Heatran will be legal for that. And then there's restricted format for Pokemon like Lunala, Xerneas, Solgaleo, Groudon, Kyogre, all those mons would be good. Additionally, as long as we're talking about things that I want, I think I'd really like a reworking of the legendaries. Rayquaza was nerfed by removing Mega Evolution. I'd like it if Red and Blue Orb weren't in the games, I think, and I'd also like if Xerneas Geomancy didn't work with Power Herb. I think if you did that, we could have a really interesting legendary format when inevitably it comes back. Yeah. The number 9 thing I want is move tutors. So I think we're getting move tutors. I believe that's confirmed, but I think that I would like them to be pretty significant. Significantly expanding the move pool of Pokemon that learn, giving, really improving move pools. And I think primarily I'd like to see more support options. I don't necessarily need more coverage options because I kind of like that they removed a bunch of the coverage options for Pokemon because it makes max moves less threatening since Pokemon can't learn every type. There's sometimes like a Pokemon that would be really broken with a certain type can't learn it or has to use like a really weak move. Not that this is a great example, but Drifloon, who wouldn't be broken even if it got like Air Slash, has to run Gust, which is unfortunate. It should learn Hurricane, I think. But yeah, Sajin had a team with Dynamax Drifloon and he had to run Gust on it because that's the strongest flying special move it gets. I'm sorry, Drifloon. Yeah, so for example, that's not a great example, but that kind of concept on Pokemon that are actually strong, like you don't want every Pokemon to be able to learn every type of coverage move for physical and special. But support moves I think are interesting and you can do a lot with them. The one that comes to mind right now for me, the biggest one is Tailwind. Right now, if you want to run Tailwind, you're kind of forced into using Whimsicott, or you could run Noivern, who's not especially good and is kind of there just to do Tailwind, or you could run like Corviknight and be bulky Tailwind, and sacrifice, the boosting abilities of Corviknight, or sacrifice something important. So I think, increasing Tailwind's viability and kind of pool of Pokemon that can use it, I think would be probably good for the game. I mean, currently we're more in a Trick Room format or a Trick Room metagame than anything, but I still think Tailwind is good to have more of. I didn't use Tailwind for years. I really hated Tailwind for a long time. I would never use it. It's kind of funny that now I'm actually considering it. And the number 10 thing that I want the most is, currently there's certain Pokemon that don't have their hidden abilities. I don't know why I even bother with my hair. It's just, I give up. What's this? What is this? Hello? Just like curls. So currently there's certain Pokemon that are in the game encoded to have hidden abilities, but don't learn them. For example, Boltund, I think its hidden ability is competitive and you can't learn it. There's a couple other Pokemon that I think could be neat if they had their hidden abilities for, just like off the top of my head. Dracovish actually gets Sand Rush. So, I don't know how good that would be, of course, but I mean, you know, wouldn't mind. I mean, that would be kind of cool. So, if certain Pokemon got hidden abilities, I think that'd be kind of nice as well, just to increase their viability as well. Now, I don't know if people would actually run Boltund, that you could do some stuff with it. I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to trying out Boltund myself if it got competitive. So, yeah, those are the 10 things that I want the most in the DLC. We'll see how many I get. I don't know how much I really expect. Just the Battle Factory. Just give me the Battle Factory. I've been so good. I've waited so long. So many years. Bring back Battle Factory, please. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow for the next video. Goodbye.